Germany called J-lyn, which offers a medical procedure that can take away time from one's life and transfer it to another person's body as long as they're a compatible match. Thanks to this technology, people in dire need of money can sell as many years of their lives as they want, which makes their bodies age quickly. In contrast, the person that buys the time gets their youthful looks restored, which means rich people are pretty much immortal. Usually only poor people that are desperate to improve their living conditions agree to sell their time, although J-lyn always promotes it as a choice and a donation. In this future there's a high number of migrants and asylum seekers, and this is the only way they have to earn a living. The company makes sure to honor scholars, artists, and celebrities with time, and Nobel winners have recently been added to the list. J-lyn's best donation manager is Max, who goes around convincing people to sell their age. Today he's talking to the son of a migrant family, telling the teenager that he would greatly benefit from selling 15 years of his life. To convince him, Max explains how he sold 5 years of his life in order to afford a college education. He also points out that the chances of his family finally getting the legal paperwork to live in peace is almost zero, but this money could help them open a business. All this manipulation gets Max the deal. When he returns to the company building, Max puts on a raincoat to deal with the protesters outside, who throw things at any worker that passes by. Many people are against J-lyn's technology because it's increasing social and economic disparity in society. Once inside, Max attends a special ceremony during which he receives an award for being the best agent of the year. Then the company's founder Sophie Tyson offers a big speech about the importance of their work. Meanwhile, in one of J-lyn's clinics, patients are having a calm day when suddenly, a man dressed as an employee pulls out a gun and shoots a bunch of people in the room before graffitiing the wall with an A symbol and then running off. He's from the Atom Group, which is meant to be an anti-J-lyn organization. They use terrorist activities to stop the company and kill people in the name of saving society. Later, Sophie together with her guards Kaya and Novak are watching a video sent by Atom's leader Lilith, who promises more chaos is coming. Max returns home and prepares a special dinner to celebrate his award with his wife Elena. They haven't finished paying for the apartment yet, but their dream is to have kids, so before eating they end up getting frisky for a while. The next day, the couple goes to visit Elena's parents. Her dad jokes about maybe buying some extra years for himself, but he's very clearly being passive-aggressive and showing disdain for Max's job, which he considers unethical. Elena interrupts before an argument escalates, but during the ride home, Max wishes she would defend him instead of being annoyingly neutral. When the couple makes it back to their building, they're shocked to discover that their apartment is on fire. Not only they lost all their belongings, they lost all their money too because it was at home. When they go to see the insurance company, they discover they won't cover this incident because reports indicate a candle started the fire, which is seen as negligence. Elena swears she always puts out all candles before leaving the place, but that's the official report and they can do nothing about it. To make matters worse, Max learns that to get the loan from the bank, Elena offered 40 years of her life as collateral, which she never told him. Max tries to offer his own years instead, but he's turned down because there aren't compatible recipients for him. This confuses Max because he donated in the past, but apparently the recipient recently died. When they leave the insurance company, the cops arrest Elena to prevent her from fleeing the country. Max swears he'll get the money to pay the bank in some other way and goes to see Sophie to explain his situation, getting Sophie to promise she'll see what she can do. Afterward, Sophie has a meeting with the company's shareholders, who are tired of wasting resources on checking for compatible DNA because it means some people may never get the chance to buy some extra years and genetic dispositions are very rare anyway. They call Sophie too biased. A few days later, Max's lawyer informs him there has been no news from Sophie and that she's ignoring their calls. With no other choice, Max goes to the clinic and tries to visit Elena, but they tell him he has to wait until the procedure is over. Losing his mind, Max runs into the other rooms to try to reach his wife, but he's tackled down by Kaya and her team. Meanwhile, Elena's prepared for the procedure. Hearing a lawyer read the contract makes her finally snap and she begins struggling against the doctors, but she's given an injection that puts her to sleep and then she's connected to a machine that transfers 38 years to a person in another room whose face is hidden. Afterward, Max takes Elena home, but she doesn't say a word. During the following days, Elena's body starts to age quickly until she looks like an elderly woman and she can barely stand looking at herself in the mirror. Max and Elena's relationship becomes very sour and awkward, and although Max tries to comfort and support Elena, she becomes very distant. One morning, Max is called to the company and he learns that he has been given a promotion that includes a salary rise, but this is useless now. Furious, Max runs to try to talk to Sophie, but Kaya stops him from getting too close. Sophie ignores him and gets in her car, although Max notices she's starting to look younger. Later at home, Max is affectionate to Elena, swearing he still loves her, but Elena thinks it's pity and tells him to leave her alone. After Max leaves, Elena begins feeling a strange pain in her abdomen and rushes to the bathtub, where she starts bleeding. Meanwhile, Max goes for a walk and to have a beer at the park, where he's approached by a girl selling illegal uppers. Max quickly tells her off. A few hours later, Elena is in the hospital for her pain. Max is keeping her company and is shocked to learn that before the procedure, Elena had been pregnant, and today's bleeding had been a miscarriage because this old body can't have babies. Tired of this awkward life they've having, Elena makes Max take her to her parents' house, where she'll live from now on. Heartbroken, Max promises to find a way to reverse the procedure, but Elena's father tells him off, reminding him this is the system he helped to create. Desperate for a solution, Max finds the girl in the park and approaches her to demand information, knowing that the girl got her procedure from somewhere illegal because Ian would never make kids. The girl gives him a special contact that Max later calls, and he learns of an underground group that has been performing age transplant surgeries in the neighboring country of Lithuania. He's told to pick up a burner phone and fake passports in a shady neighborhood and that he needs to get hold of the recipient who has been given Elena's time. Afterward, Max hides in a hotel and makes plans to kidnap Sophie because he's sure her getting younger and refusing to help him wasn't a coincidence. For the next few days, he follows Sophie around until one afternoon. He finds his chance when he sees her alone in a cemetery with no guards in sight. After hiding his face, he approaches the now young-looking Sophie, who begins yelling for helping and running. Max catches up quickly and tases her until she falls unconscious. Then he paints an A on a grave to make it look like the Adam Group did this. Afterward, Max goes to pick Elena up at her workplace, asking her to trust him. Together they go to the abandoned building where he's keeping an illegal van and Sophie all tied up, but Elena thinks this is crazy and an argument ensues. Max convinces her to come along when he mentions this is the only chance to rebuild their lives and have a family. At the cemetery, Kaya and Novak investigate the situation and Novak uses the footage from security cameras to trace the car Max used. Everything was bought with a fake account, but Novak follows all the purchases until he traces the first one to Max's real account, so now they'll be looking for him. Novak wonders if they should call the cops, but Kaya refuses. By the time they make it to the abandoned building, the couple is already gone. While Elena and Max make their way to the harbor, Kaya and Novak prepare a new operation to catch them, this time with the help of the police. Novak explains how the couple met. Max had been assigned to Elena as her donation manager, but in the course of making the sale, they fell in love and got married. Novak admits he feels bad for desperate people, but Kaya calls him out and reveals she's actually 64 years old. She doesn't like modifying her body like this, but she does it for the job because she owes Sophie a lot. At the harbor, Max and Elena manage to get on a ship without much trouble, but they're caught on a security camera and Novak gets their location. Every few hours, Max checks on Sophie and brings her food and drinks. She's being kept inside a box with a bathtub, pretending to be cargo. In the evening, the couple watches a happy family and hopes for their own baby in the future. Suddenly a child mentions some funny lights at the shore, and Max and Elena come out to discover the police are waiting for them in Lithuania. Thinking